Hi everyone, my name is Nick DeCristofaro. I'm a customer engineer network specialist with Google Cloud, and I'll be your presenter today in this video. If you started your journey towards Google Cloud from a hybrid on-premises model, it's likely that you're already using some hybrid connectivity features, one of them being Cloud VPN. Historically, Cloud VPN offered you an SLA of 99.9%, and with the introduction of our HA VPN solution, we now offer an SLA of 99.99%. You're able to benefit from higher availability as well as ease of migration between Classic VPN and HA VPN. In this video, I will show you how easy it is to migrate an existing Classic VPN tunnel to an HA solution. First, let's look at two migrations paths we will look at today. The first one is migrate an existing Classic VPN solution to HA VPN using BGP as the routing protocol to on-premises network or any non-Google networks. And the second is migrate an existing Classic VPN utilizing policy-based VPN to HA VPN utilizing BGP between two projects or VPCs within Google Cloud Platform. Now let's begin by looking at the first example migration path. As you can see here, I'm in the hybrid connectivity section of the Google Cloud Console. Here's a tab for VPN, and this is where I would like to have a look at the VPN tunnels and the Cloud VPN gateways that are available. Here you can see that I have two Classic VPN tunnels that are already established. If I scroll to the right, you can see that I have dynamic BGP VPN tunnel and I have a policy-based VPN tunnel. For the first section of this video, we will focus on the demo VPN tunnel that's already established over BGP. The first thing you want to do is to create a new Cloud VPN gateway. If I click the Cloud VPN tab gateway here, you can see that I have a Classic VPN gateway with an associated IP address, and I have an HA VPN gateway already created. If I click Create New VPN Gateway, this is where you would create your new VPN gateway for HA VPN. You would give it a name under the VPN gateway name and select an appropriate VPC network for the VPN gateway. And these would be the same VPC network and region that match your current Classic VPN. My current Classic VPN gateway is configured in US East 4, so I would select US East 4. I will not click Create because I've already created one, but in your case you would click Create. So next, if I go back to the Cloud VPN Tunnels tab, I'm asked to select a VPN gateway, and I will select the HA VPN High Availability Gateway I just created and click Continue. I'm presented next with two options. In the first example, we will look at an on-premises or non-Google Cloud peer gateway. I've already created a new demo non-VPN gateway. However, in your case, you would need to click Create Peer VPN Gateway and then provide a name. In this case, it would be the on-prem VPN gateway, and then specify the IP address of the interfaces of your on-premise VPN gateway. Now, you may have 1, 2, or 4 interfaces, and this depends on your vendor's configuration. In my test environment, I'm going to use 2 interfaces with the same IP address. I'm not going to enter these right now and click Create because I've already done so. I will click Cancel instead. Instead, I will click Peer VPN Gateway Name and choose the VPN gateway I've already created. The next step is to ask me what I would like to do with High Availability component. Now, High Availability, or HA VPN, provides a 99.99% SLA, and therefore it's required to create a pair of VPN tunnels to achieve that SLA. Next, the only routing option we have for HA VPN is dynamic via BGP. Next, we want to select a cloud router. You can reuse the same cloud router that you were using previously for the Classic VPN BGP tunnels. If you'd like to create a new cloud router, however, it's not necessary. Here, I will select the existing cloud router, and next I will create the tunnels. As I select Edit on the VPN tunnels, you can see that it automatically populates the associated interfaces from my HA VPN gateway that was created earlier, and it associates the peer gateway interfaces for me. If you remember, I mentioned that I have 2 interfaces for my peer gateway, and these interfaces have the same IP address for the purposes of this demo. For the first tunnel, I will associate interface 0 of the HA VPN gateway with interface 0 of the peer gateway. I'll give it a name. Let's call it HA VPN-tunnel-0. Next, you can select the IKE version. Most modern VPN gateways support IKE v2, so I'll leave it at that. Next, enter a pre-shared key. Now, for my example, the pre-shared key is going to be demo VPN HA VPN. However, please note the best practice is to create a strong IKE pre-shared key. See links to our documentations below for more information. The Generate and Copy button here can create one for you. Now click Done. Next, I'll configure the second tunnel. As you can see, this is associated with interface 1 on both the HA VPN gateway and peer gateway. Following the same naming convention, we will call this HA VPN-tunnel-1. I'll enter the same pre-shared key and click Done. Now, once you've configured everything, you can click Create and Continue. In the next screen, we have to configure the BGP sessions. Let's configure the BGP session for the first Cloud VPN tunnel. Click Configure. Here I will give it a name. Let's call it HA VPN-BGP-0. Now fill in your peer autonomous system number. That's what's actually configured on your on-premises environment. In my environment, it's 65506. Next, let's look at the multi-exit discriminator value or advertised route priority. Because we would like to minimize the downtime and the recommended configuration as an active-active tunnel, I know that I've configured my default route priority for my Classic VPN tunnel to 100. So I'll configure the route priority here to 1000 for the HA VPN tunnel. What this means is that when these tunnels come up, traffic will not automatically switch over to these interfaces because the other tunnel has better priority. This effectively means that we do not need to move traffic to the new tunnels until we're ready to do so. Now, for all configuration changes that you would do in the cloud, we would recommend them to be done during maintenance windows. Next, configure the Cloud Router BGP IP and Peer BGP IP. The IPs depend on what is configured in your on-premises environment. In my case, the local Cloud Router BGP IP is 169.254.4.1, and the BGP peer IP is 169.254.4.2. Next, you can configure the advertised routes, so you may decide to advertise only certain routes across this tunnel. For the purpose of this demonstration, we're not going to change the defaults, and then we'll click Save and Continue. Next, configure the second BGP session with the desired parameters. Here I will configure with a similar naming convention. So here I will name it HA VPN-BGP-1. The peer ASN is going to be the same, 65506. Next, under the route priority, we'll be putting the same MED value so that the tunnels are in an active state. So they're essentially able to load balance traffic. I will enter value 1000, the same I entered in the other tunnel. And then again for Cloud Router, BGP IP, and BGP Peer IP, this depends on your configuration. For me, it's 169.254.5.1, and the Peer IP is 169.254.5.2. Now again, let's click Save and Continue. Finally, let's click the button to save the BGP configuration. Now here on step 3, we're actually given a summary page of the current status of our VPN tunnels. You can see that right now they're establishing, so it may take roughly 20 to 30 seconds to bring up the tunnels, so we'll click OK and return to the previous page. Now again on this page, you can see a summary of my Cloud VPN tunnels, and as you can see, my right 2 tunnels are waiting for the BGP peer to be established. You may click Refresh here at the top of the page, and it'll actually refresh the screen so we'll know whether the BGP has been established. So let's click Refresh. And now you can see that the BGP are established. So next, if we select the hamburger menu at the top left-hand side, and we scroll down to VPC Network, and then under the networking section, we will select Routes. Now in the Routes tab, I'm interested in the Dynamic tab to look at the new routes that were learned across HA VPN. So if I click Dynamic tab here, I can see that I'm learning a new IP prefix from both tunnels with priority 1000. Based on the other BGP routing priority, which is set to 100, this means that the existing Classic VPN tunnel that I had previously created would still take precedence. Recall that a lower value is better here, meaning that 100 wins over 1000. Traffic is still going to flow across the existing VPN tunnel and not across the new HA VPN tunnel. So next, as you can see here, I have a demo virtual machine that I'm going to establish a ping between it and my on-premises environment across that VPN tunnel. So here I'm going to initiate a ping to 192.168.125.1. And as you can see, I'm receiving packets from that on-premises machine, which is located across the VPN tunnel on my on-premises network. So next, to have seamless traffic failover, let's change the routing priorities so that the Classic VPN tunnel has lower priority or a higher emed value than the HA VPN tunnels. So if you click on the hamburger menu at the top left-hand side, go back to networking, click hybrid connectivity and then VPN. Select the existing Classic VPN tunnel, scroll down to the routing and security section, and the line item BGP session, click Modify BGP session. When the new window opens up, change the advertised route priority to a value larger than what was configured for HA VPN tunnels. For example, in my environment, my HA VPN tunnels have a value of 1000. So I'll configure the routing priority for the Classic VPN tunnel with a value of 1200. Now before I click Save and Continue, I actually have a on-premises router where I need to make the configuration changes as well. So that traffic is symmetrical between my HA VPN tunnel pair and my on-premises router and Google. So I'll configure that in the background, and then I'm going to click Save and Continue here. So now that it's configured, if we return to the hamburger bar menu at the top left-hand side, scroll down to VPC Network and select the Routes tab. Click the Dynamic tab, and now we can see that I'm receiving a route from the on-premises network with priority 1200. Now this was the priority that I had configured towards the on-prem network as well, so traffic is now preferring my HA VPN tunnel pair. If I look below here, and I return to my ping running in the background, if I stop it, I can see that traffic has now effectively switched over to my new HA VPN tunnel without any interruptions. We can see here that we have 0 packet loss between my pings sent from the GCP environment to my on-premises router. Now, if I restart the ping, I can return to my VPN configuration under the hybrid connectivity section. If I select the existing Classic VPN tunnel, I can safely delete it now. Click Delete. Are you sure we want to delete this tunnel? Click Delete. Now, since the traffic is safely going across the HA VPN tunnel pair, deleting the tunnel will have no effect on my traffic. So if I return to the VPC Networks tab, click the Routes button, click the Dynamic tab, now I can see that I'm receiving the prefix 192.168.125.0/24 only from my HA VPN tunnel pair. So if we go back to the pings here being sent, and I stop the pings, you can see effectively I've had 0 packet loss now that I've removed my Classic VPN tunnel. And with that, we have now a successful migration from Classic VPN over to HA VPN. That concludes the first migration path from Classic VPN utilizing BGP to HA VPN. Section 2. Migrate an existing Classic VPN utilizing policy-based VPN to HA VPN between 2 projects or VPCs within Google Cloud. Now in this section, we'll look at configuring HA VPN tunnels between 2 projects in GCP. This migration path is used to migrate Classic VPN tunnels between 2 projects in GCP to HA VPN tunnels. Let's click the hamburger menu at the top left-hand side. Let's scroll down to networking, select hybrid connectivity, click the VPN tab. And here, as you can see, I have established a Classic VPN policy-based tunnel. If I scroll to the right, you can see here that there's no dynamic routes configured and it's completely policy-based, meaning I've manually configured my traffic selectors and traffic is going between this VPC and project to another project and VPC within GCP. Now, if I open this new window, I can show you I have another project, and in this project, I will go to the same hybrid connectivity section and the VPN tab and show you the tunnels that I have created. You can see here I have an existing Classic VPN tunnel, which is policy-based. If I scroll to the right, you can see that it's established. You can also see here that I have existing tunnels created because we're going to do the configuration only in one project. So I've already configured my HA VPNs here in this project. We will now create HA VPN tunnels to the new project instead of to an on-premises network. Going back to the original project, I'll create a new pair of HA VPN tunnels by selecting Create VPN Tunnel. I will then select the HA VPN demo gateway that I've created before and click Continue. So in this case, we'll select a pure VPN gateway type of Google Cloud, and here I'll be presented with a list of projects that I have access to, and I will select the project that I'm attempting to create a connection to by selecting the VPN gateway name. Now, as you recall, since I've already created an HA VPN gateway in the other project, this is something that you would have had to do prior to this step. So you would simply follow similar steps that I've shown you earlier on how to create an HA VPN gateway, and you would do that in one project before the other. Now, once I select the gateway name, here I'm presented with the high availability options, again, very similar from the previous section. Here we will create a pair of VPN tunnels, again, to provide high availability with a 4 nines of SLA. Next, I will select my existing cloud routers. Again, you can create a new one, but it's not necessary. And now once I click the VPN tunnels, you can see that they've already been pre-associated one-to-one with the interfaces of my peer VPN gateway. Now this is done automatically for you within Google Cloud. Now again, similar to before, let's give it a name. I'm going to call it HA VPN-peer-project-0. Next, the same configuration for IKE version. If you want, you can change that. Next, enter a pre-shared key. Now again, a strong pre-shared key is recommended. See links to our documentation below for more information. But for this demo, I'm going to select a simple pre-shared key. Once entered, I click Done. Next, I'm going to configure my second tunnel. By selecting this tunnel, let's give it a name. I'm going to name it HA VPN-peer-project-1. Next, I'm going to enter the same pre-shared key again. Click Done, then Create and Continue. On this page, we'll create the BGP sessions. I've already created exactly the same thing here in my other project, so I'm only going to do it here. Let's click Configure and give it a name. So in my example, it's HA VPN-peer-0. Peer ASN in my case is 65507. And now for the route priorities, it'll be a little bit different than the previous example because policy-based routes have a default priority in Google Cloud of 1000. So let's create a route priority that's higher than the policy-based route, so a lower numerical value, as you recall. So I will enter 100, which is lower than the 1000, and then I'll enter the relevant cloud router and BGP router peer IPs. My cloud router IP is 169.254.7.1, and my peers is 169.254.7.2. Please note once again that all changes should be done during maintenance windows. Click Save and Continue. Let's configure the second BGP session. Click Configure. Again, enter a name. I'm going to name it HA VPN-peer-1. And again, enter your ASN. In my case, it's 65507. The multi-exit discriminator will be the same as before. So for me, it's 100. Then configure the appropriate cloud router and BGP peer IPs. In my environment, it's 169.254.8.1 and 169.254.8.2. Again, click Save and Continue. Now, I won't click Save BGP configuration just yet, and that's because I'd like to show traffic is currently going across the existing Classic VPN tunnel. And here, I'm going to initiate a ping from my VM. The IP address of my peer project's VM is 10.30.30.2. So I'm going to leave the ping running. I can now click Save BGP configuration. Now here on this page, we get the BGP summary page that you've seen previously. We can click OK at the bottom. Here you can see the newly created tunnels, and you can see the peer VPN gateway and the project that it's associated with. If we scroll to the right, we can see the current BGP session status. If we click refresh, we can see the BGP peers are established. Click on the hamburger menu at the top left-hand side and scroll down to VPC Network and select the Routes tab. Next, select the Dynamic tab And now we can see a destination range of 10.30.30.0/24, which is a new route that was created across the HA VPN peers. If I click the All tab, I can see a policy-based route tunnel with priority 1000 for the same prefix, 10.30.30.0/24. Now traffic has automatically moved over to the HA VPN pair across these two priority 100 link. So if we return to the Dynamic tab, again, you can see these two priority 100 link, and traffic is effectively moved over to the HA VPN tunnels. If I return to my VM window down below, I can now stop the pings, and you can see that traffic has seamlessly switched over without any packet loss. I can then reestablish the pings, go back to my VPN section, and simply select the VPN policy-based routing tunnel and delete it. So again, let's go back to the hamburger bar menu. Let's scroll down to Hybrid Connectivity and VPN. Select the Classic VPN policy-based routing tunnel. Click Delete. Are you sure you want to delete this tunnel? Click Delete. And there you have it. We only have HA VPN's tunnel left, so the last thing to do is to delete the existing Classic VPN gateways unless you're using them for any other tunnels. But if you're not, you can safely delete them. Now, if we go back to my VM ping running here below, you can see that if I stop it, there's been no packet loss when the tunnel was deleted. So I can return to my Cloud Console, scroll down to the VPC network sections and routes. And you can see here in the All tab, I no longer see the policy-based route VPN tunnel for prefix 10.30.30.0/24, and they're only still being learned via the dynamic routes in the Dynamic tab. And with that, this concludes this video. I've posted some useful links to our documentation below, which explain various topologies and configurations with HA VPN. Thank you and have a great day.